This episode of the podcast is brought to you by our partner, Audible.
Yes, it is. So we are partnered with Audible. That means that if you are looking just to check it out, you don't want to put your card in and just take the dive. You can get 30 days for free on us. If you go to audibletrial.com/JATG or click the link down below, you'll be taken there. You can sign up for 30 days for free and just test it out. Like there's a lot of stuff on there that you can get for free, a lot of Audible exclusives. But what I really like about Audible is that out of the hundreds and thousands of audiobooks that they have, if you decide to purchase something, that is yours forever. Like if you decide not to carry on your subscription or you want to take a break or whatever it is, you can always go back and listen to that book whenever you want through the app on the internet. Doesn't matter because it's yours. So once again, you can get that for 30 days for free on us if you go to audibletrial.com/JATG.
Yeah, that's always us, tropical. All right, as usual, Twitch is super fast, no time for a delay. Johnny and the Greg are on episode 181, G.
181.
181, and that
Damn.
is, yeah, that was, and that's not adding in all the Tropic Thunder and
so we've done over 200 now. This is just Johnny and Greg.
Yes, when we've
rebranded.
Yeah.
We'll probably rebrand again just to get the tax break.
There you go. Welcome to the show, everybody. Glad you're here. If you're listening, if you're not listening, listen. And if you could do us a favor, we'll wait. Tap that little like button, subscribe, get the notification bell if you're listening to us on, or watching us on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on all of the streaming platforms of podcasting, welcome to Johnny and the Greg. Thank you for listening to us. We appreciate it. How you doing, Greg?
It's summer.
Yeah,
we're
past the cicada.
We're in full summer. Are you like you're officially done? I never saw a one.
I have a theory. It was your neighborhood kind of new. Was it new before 2000?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think they killed everything.
I don't know. I don't know quite when it was built.
Okay.
But yeah, probably before 2000.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that probably destroyed everything those guys were doing for 17 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our neighborhood is good old 1980s. It was established. So they were here and they came with a force, man. Sometimes when driving down the streets, when it got really bad for about 5 days, I think they were in that sex craze where they're just everywhere. And it felt like somebody was either chucking grapes at us
or we were like in a funeral home, just like out in the middle of the road.
And it just sounded like sometimes people were shooting our car.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah. Hey, you haven't figured out how good of a driver you are until two at the same time land into your car and you just hear this just this craziness. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So, I got a couple of topics to discuss today. I thought we could hit one that seemed to have I sent it to our group. It seemed to have created a good discussion, things I didn't think about. It was the odds came out on who would play Wolverine after Hugh Jackman finally puts his masterpiece.
I think we've had this conversation before. Like we said, we're on episode 181 of this version.
Yes.
I think we probably covered this in a Topic Thunder before. But
we didn't actually. We had an entire podcast where Marshall came aboard and the three of us discussed it. But we didn't have actual people tied to the possibility of it. We were coming up with ideas.
I see what you're saying. Yep. Got it.
So here's the actual odds are favorite of, I would say, the top 10 actors. So
and this is actually the thing you sent out. This is Vegas odds.
This isn't Vegas. You can go to a sporting app right now, look up Vegas odds, and this is pulls up. So If you guys want to get a pen and paper at home, this is who it is. Taron Egerton is the lead at plus 200 odds to be the next
Mhm.
Wolverine.
And he made his breakout role in The Kingsman
Yes,
for
Eggsy.
his action. Yeah, he played Exy. He was also Elton John in that Elton John in Rocket Man, I believe was the name of it. He's done some Apple films, Apple
Mhm.
TV films. Really good. One called Blackbird.
Yes.
And while his performance was really good, he wasn't the breakout star of that one for me, but also very good. So he's a
Okay,
great
so
actor.
what I think you're really good at is you're good at acknowledging or paying attention to the depth of an actor, how far
Mhm.
they can uh what their range is. How do you feel
Yeah.
his range?
Um, Good. We haven't seen him. I haven't seen him anyway in like a rage-filled role.
Okay.
Now, the in Blackbird, he played more or less like a yuppie,
Okay.
like a
Like a con man,
90s.
right?
He was a con man, but
Yeah.
he was also a 90s bro,
Okay.
um, gym rat kind of guy, almost like a Patrick Bateman, but not psychotic.
Yes.
Um, but he was a trust fund baby. He had all this stuff. So he got fit for the role. And I don't know
Okay.
how fit he was. Like when we saw him in the Kingsman, he was lean.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he put on some mass
Okay. For this role.
for this one where he's playing the whole all of Blackbird is like a prison drama.
Okay.
Um, and he plays an informant like in a prison.
Right.
And you see him like he packed on some size, he packed on some weight. He more or less grew up a little bit, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Where in Kingsman he's almost like he's supposed to be in his late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
Where in this,
Juvenile.
you're like he's late 20s, early 30s.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so I could see it happening, but at the same time, he's I don't know, not for me for him
I
to
I
play him,
agree.
but
I agree with your point. I can see it happening. If it happens, it's not like it's going to a bad actor. So it wouldn't
correct.
upset me.
Correct. Yeah.
But it's not how I would cast it.
Yeah.
Um the
At the
next
same
one,
time, hold on. At the same time with him, he has generational um I guess I don't say generational wealth, but it's the idea that he could be in a big franchise movie for the next 10 to 15 years
yeah,
and be able to pull that off. Because
right.
that comes up later in this
Okay.
list.
Okay. The next one I think would have been a fantastic choice if you got him in his 30s, and that's Tom Hardy. I think if you
Correct.
were to get him now, it's okay. I think he'd knock it out of the park. I think he'd be great, but you don't get him for long. That's how I
No.
look at it. I mean, what is
And
he,
that's
42, 45 now?
let me look that
Tom
up. But
Hardy?
that's what I'm talking about. Like Tom Hardy, yeah, he would have been great
Hmm.
10 or 15 years ago. Like if you would have got him right after he did The Dark Knight,
Yes.
like sure, yeah,
Yeah.
I could have seen that.
Yeah. If anybody
But
watched that movie that he was in with the MMA fighter, I think it was called Warrior, about the two
yeah,
brothers.
yep, about the two
He
brothers.
was scary in that. So
Yeah.
he could have definitely played this quiet rage. In fact, every time he seems to act in whether it be in that TV show Peaky Blinders
Yeah.
or another one he did for like FX where it was called Taboo, he
Yeah.
looked like he was about to just explode at any minute.
Mm-hmm.
So he carries a great intensity that I can appreciate. But again, he's
Too
too
late.
old. Yeah, if you
Too
want
late.
to go for a 15 to 20-year
Yeah.
span with this
He's
guy.
a year older than me.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's 47.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, I don't see them casting a
Yeah.
47-year-old
I'm
for
48
Wolverine.
now. I'm 48 now. I couldn't imagine signing my name over and knowing for the next 20 years, like
Yeah.
I'd have to be a physical character of Wolverine.
Mm.
That's
And
rough.
you have to be in superhero shape. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what you're signing on for.
Yes.
Now
Absolutely.
I think he's got the chops for it,
Oh yeah.
but um, like he doesn't strike me as being that into that kind of acting anymore that he would
Yes.
want to do that.
I agree. I I'm actually shocked he's Eddie Brock,
Yeah,
if I'm being
yeah.
truthful.
I think he's
Like,
doing that because he thought there was a lot to explore there with the character, and I feel bad that the movies mostly suck.
Right.
Because I think he could have done more with it if
Oh
it would
yeah.
have been in the entire Spider-Man universe with Venom versus Spider-Man,
Right.
the Eddie Brock Peter Parker
Yeah. Yeah.
rivalry,
Yeah.
and they're just not giving him the material for it.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
That said, I
Um,
mean, he's still very physical. He is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu
yep.
like competitor.
Mm-hmm.
Like he in his age group, he's winning tournaments.
Yeah.
So he could do the physical stuff
The physicality. I
if
think he's one of those guys that he seems to me one of those guys that if you're in the middle of doing the fight choreography, he'd want you to hit him.
yes. Yeah, I think
He
so.
seems that type.
He would be like, go ahead and jack me in the face a little
Yeah.
bit. And
Yeah.
then to get into it,
Right. We'll play off it.
the
Yeah.
being able to maintain the shredded superhero physique that people expect nowadays, especially
Yeah.
out of Wolverine. Um, I don't know if he'd want to do that.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with you.
like as an actor, he would probably be like, I don't want to keep up because right now as Eddie Brock, he doesn't need to do that. He
Correct.
doesn't need to have a shredded physique because CGI goes over and it's
Hmm.
all CGI muscles after that.
You think that's
So
the future, Greg? Because we've talked about, I don't know if we've actually talked about this on the podcast, but I sent you a story where people were so upset at Wolverine's costume with the long sleeves that they
yeah,
CGI'd his
arms.
muscles, his arms onto his body, and it looks good. You can't
Yeah.
really tell unless somebody points it out and
Mm-hmm.
zooms in on stuff. Do you think that's the future?
It
That
very yeah, I
they're
think it
just going
very
to
well could be.
CGI the body
Um,
on a guy?
I think there's a point where it will be, and then
Yeah.
there's a point where I mean, I don't think any actor is going to be able to completely slack off
Right.
in that regards,
Right.
but like we had heard with Robert Pattinson when he was working out for Batman that his body was just not packing on the mass that they
Yes.
wanted it to.
Right.
Like he was trying, he was doing
Yes.
the work
Yes.
and taking in the calories, and celebrity chefs and everything else were like, here's what you need to do.
Yep.
And his body just wasn't cooperating. Now he
Right.
looked a lot of lean muscle,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not what they wanted. They wanted a scene with him with his shirt off where he's massive
Right.
or got some bulk to him, and they couldn't do it.
Right.
So now I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe they'll just be like, we'll bring in an actor that's close enough and then just do a deep fake CGI kind of thing. And
Yeah. Yeah.
there you
Well, I
go.
mean, I guess if you're going to go that route where you're going to put in a stunt actor and all Wolverine would have to do was put on the cowl, be a stunt
Mm-hmm.
actor, Tom Hardy could play the close-ups. Kind of like what they did with Robert Downey.
He could. He
You
could.
could do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I
mean,
know. I
if it
agree with you
gets to
though.
that point, I think people will be, and you know what? It could already be at that point, and
You're
we
right.
don't know. I
You're right.
mean, because you and I are two layman dudes. The the clip that you sent were like CGI professionals going, "Oh, you see right there? You see right there? Look at his shoulder. See that little clipping?" And they were going frame by frame
Yeah, they were.
and able to pick. They were able to pick out those are CGI arms,
Yes.
and I'm like, okay, well, and the real reason that they are CGI arms is Hugh Jackman's been battling a form of skin cancer
Yes.
for like the past 10 or 15 years.
Yep. Yep.
And he's like, I don't want, like, he's got some, I don't know if it's scars or discoloration or whatever it is. He didn't want his arms on camera like that.
Yeah.
And now he put in the work and got big again,
Yeah.
or he got in Wolverine style shape.
Shape. Yeah.
And then he put on the long sleeves. And then they went, you know what? We can either scan in his arms now, or maybe just pull his arms from
From
Wolverine
yeah.
Origins,
Yes.
which were fantastic, and do it that way. And I'm,
Yeah.
as long as he's okay with that, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I thought he looked better in the Wolverine, the one in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think that was his peak Wolverine or Days of Future Past. One of those two.
could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, we're
It doesn't matter.
that's
Yeah. What
semantic.
else?
Yeah.
What's another actor?
The next one I can see happening. I wouldn't be a fan of it, but I said this in our discussion. If you want to go with the guy that looks like Hugh Jackman the most, it would be Scott Eastwood, which is at a plus 500. So he's third on getting this. Now, I haven't really watched Scott Eastwood act. I've seen him in movies.
Hmm.
I don't know if he can act. I don't know.
Um,
Maybe I have, and I just can't remember him. But I remember him being in movies like the Fast and the Furious.
he's always
Um,
been like in the big action films that he's done. Like here,
yeah.
like the first thing that
Eastwood
comes
was in
up,
the
he's no,
Suicide Squad, the
yeah,
first one.
like he's known for Suicide Squad. I'm like, no, he's not.
Yeah,
He's in there for
exactly.
30 seconds.
Yes.
Like to the point where you're like, oh, that's Scott Eastwood. Is he going to? Oh no, he's gone now. Okay,
Yeah,
well
exactly.
maybe we'll
Yeah.
see him again later. Oh no.
Oh, no, no, we didn't see him. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
You
he's in
got
Fast and
anything
the
with him?
Furious a little bit.
That's the problem. It's a little bit.
What I've seen him, Pacific Rim Uprising, which was the sequel to
Okay.
Pacific Rim.
I didn't watch that
He
really.
had a bigger role in
Did he?
there.
Okay.
Um, and I go, yeah, he was okay. I
Yeah.
mean, he wasn't a standout star. He also wasn't the main character.
I would
It
almost be
was,
afraid that Scott Eastwood would end up doing what Brandon Roth did for Christopher Reeve when he played Superman. Did I get his name
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay. How he almost had to try and play Christopher Reeve as Superman instead of him finding his own Wolverine.
yeah. So you think he would try to play Clint
Play it like
Eastwood as
Hugh.
Wolverine, or play like Hugh?
Play
Sure,
it like
okay,
Hugh.
yeah.
Get the mannerisms down and, come again, all that stuff that he does.
Oh, I didn't know this. He was like his first movie listed is Flags of Our Fathers, and he was listed as Scott Reeves because I do remember like I forgot he didn't want to be Scott Eastwood
Oh, he wanted, okay.
because he didn't want to trade on his father's name.
Right.
So he
Right.
wanted to make it his own. So he did a couple of movies
Yeah.
just as Scott Reeves, which I believe is his mother's last name.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's I mean, he's an actor. I mean, that's the best
Right.
I could say. If you said, was he a good actor? I don't know. Not good enough to make me go, oh, I loved him in that movie.
Right. Exactly. I know.
So, so to me, it's like, well, if you want to get him cheap, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
My whole thing with Scott Eastwood is I want to see more, and I've never seen more. And it makes me think if I haven't seen more, is it because he doesn't have more to give?
yeah, possibly. I
Because
mean, yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
if he was a really
he's,
good actor, I could see them saying, "Well, let's give him some more lines."
yeah.
Or,
And again, age might be an issue. He's 38.
okay, I didn't know that either.
So, yep, he's
Yeah.
another old one. Well, like it's his first movie is Flags of Our Fathers, which came out in 2006.
Okay.
So if your first movie was in 2006, you're Clint Eastwood's son. If you're not doing big movies by now and like people are noticing you,
Yeah.
then maybe you're not making the right
Yeah.
choices
Yeah.
or you're
Yeah.
just not
Right.
you don't have the star power to carry a character like
Right. Yeah. Okay. The next one at a plus 800, um, seems to be everybody's. If you're a geek or a nerd, this is one of your favorite guys. Henry Cavill.
no
Um,
Cavill.
Cabo. I don't know. I don't see him playing Wolverine. I don't think he should play Wolverine. Um, eh, I've always thought if you're going to bring that guy in here, y- my thing is he's not going to, but I would put him as Doctor Doom.
No, I wouldn't. Like
No?
you mean if you bring him into the Marvel universe, just
Yeah, I would.
Doctor Doom?
Yeah,
No, I could see
no.
him playing Cyclops because he's got an arrogance to him.
Or he can play that.
The
Yeah,
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 we've seen him play that, and I go, oh, he could be good at that.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
like the hmm,
He's a
the
big dude,
Boy
though, isn't
Scout.
he? He's a big guy.
See
And
that, and I'm not even going off of that. People that get all caught up on the actor of Wolverine must be short is not true because Hugh
well,
Jackman is
no,
not.
of course it's not true. I would like to see it, but I know
Sure, but
yeah.
if that was the case, if you wanted a short built actor, you would have had Scott Conn from again Scott Conn
Oh yeah,
20
yeah,
years ago.
yeah,
He could have done it,
yeah.
but he didn't. So,
I don't think
so
he
I don't
could
know.
have done it.
You don't think Scotty Conn could have done it?
No, I see him as such that maybe it's the haircut he always has. He just looks like that pompous ass
Yeah.
school jock. And he's the dude that wore a leather jacket from his high school when he was in college.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Which
He's probably a super nice guy, and I don't
his
know him. He just gives me that
I'm
feeling.
going off a little bit on what I saw his dad
Yes,
act like, James
yes,
Caan.
yes,
And James Caan could flip a switch and go from kind of a
yes.
nice guy to, oh my God, he's gonna, you know,
He would have been
chew
a great Wolverine in
chew
the
my throat
60s.
out. Oh yeah, he would have been great.
He would have been
Um,
fantastic.
Also one of the Bruce Lee's first students in America
Yes,
was
yes,
James Caan. So
yeah,
um, so yeah, that would have been interesting, but
yes.
again, when it never would have happened.
All right. Next one is my personal favorite from this list. Because I know one guy further down the line won't do it, even though I think he'd be great at it. But this is Jeremy Allen White. He's a plus 800, so he's tied with Henry. And the only
Mm-hmm.
reason I say Jeremy Allen White, for those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, he stars in the FX show The Bear.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Shameless. He was Lip.
Mm-hmm.
He was also in a movie that I cannot seem to recall in my head right now. But every time I've watched this kid act, there's something that makes me want to watch him. And when he's in a scene, he steals it without even saying lines
Yeah.
to my eye. I think he has an incredible intensity and a wildness to him that you can tell or I get the feeling like it's just ready to bubble out.
Yeah. Are you watching The Bear, by the way?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we're middle of this season. In fact, we were just watching it before I came on.
Okay, okay,
Um,
okay. Um,
so yes, I mean he's got the intensity, he's got
oh,
the
it was the Iron Claw he was in.
the Iron Claw. Yep, I was
Yes.
gonna bring that up. He was in the wrestling movie. So he got big, or he put
Hmm.
on mass and got in professional wrestler shape.
Hmm.
Um, I have a hard time with him,
Okay.
and it really comes down to his face.
Too
Is he,
ratty?
well, I was gonna say he looks too much like Gene Wilder to me.
Yeah, he does. He
He
does look
looks
like
like the son of Gene Wilder.
Yep.
Not
Yep.
that I've ever seen Gene Wilder's son or even know if he has one, but he could have been. Like you
Yeah.
look at if you look at those two side by side,
Hmm.
like just basic shots from any film, you go, "Oh damn, that's close."
Yeah,
That's like
I've seen
Mark
those.
Hamill and Sebastian Stan look a lot alike. I mean, you
Yes.
just go,
Yes.
"There's no relation between them," but holy crud.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I wouldn't be able to get past that in my head.
You don't want to
Um,
see a crazy Willy Wonka.
no, not really. Like, yeah, I have a hard time visualizing that.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't
now
actually see him in the Iron Claw. I
I
would
haven't
imagine
watched it
he
yet
has I would
either.
imagine he has depth in that. He's a good actor in my opinion. He's a
He's very
fantastic
good.
actor.
He is very, very good.
So
And
that's
it's
why I would trust him to be able to pull it off.
yeah. I
Um,
haven't watched The Iron Claw yet because it's one of those movies. It's like, hey, do you want to watch a movie with an abusive father and kids with daddy issues that you're
right.
probably going to cry at the end?
Not only that, you and I kind of
not on a Friday night.
at some point watched and liked the Von Erichs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I
that too.
remember watching them. You know,
Hmm.
I remember being shocked that guy had no shoes on. Like
Yeah, the
whoever.
whole time you're like,
Yeah,
everybody else has boots on. He's out there in his
I
bare
never
feet.
understood that. I was like, huh, okay.
Okay, okay.
Anyway, the next guy at plus 900, and feel free,
Whoever, cousin
cousin
Clay,
Clay, and of course our the
our
I
super
call him
fan
yeah,
Marshall.
I call him the he's the guy that knows Wolverine. Um the next guy at plus 900, and I just don't get this guy. Charlie Hugh
Charlie
man.
Hunnam, Hunnam,
Hunnam. I
Charlie
look,
Hunnam.
I don't argue. Maybe it's because I have a little bitter taste in my mouth. His last performance I watched him in, it was in the damn uh Rebel Moon. And I was just like, as I was just I because I just watched that. I just got Netflix
Oh,
back and I just watched it and I was
good.
like, okay. And every show he's in, and I get all you people out there that love that motorcycle series he was in,
Yep.
but I don't see anything in that guy.
Hmm.
Like I see how he would look like a good Oliver Queen, but I don't see the act. I mean, I saw him in that King Arthur movie, and even then I thought the people around him were better than he was.
Oh, I liked him in the King Arthur.
So
I
I
like him
just
as an actor. Like when he's directed by Guy Ritchie,
yeah,
it's good stuff.
okay.
I never watched Sons of Anarchy, so I'm not aware of how he was in there. Other than I know he won awards for it. I think.
Okay. I'm not a
Um,
fan. That maybe it's just me. I'm not a fan.
Again, he's 44.
Uh-huh.
Like
Okay. So he's
so
old
you've got
too.
to, yeah, well, old like I wouldn't
Old
say
to play
he's
Wolverine. I'm
old,
not saying old he
but
can't act and stuff. I'm just
and I
saying.
don't even think he's necessarily old to play Wolverine since they've set up kind of this timelessness of Wolverine.
Yeah.
I'm thinking from an act from a business
Commitment.
perspective,
Commitment
like the
standpoint.
commitment. I
Yeah.
mean, he's going to be playing him until he's 60 because they're
Right.
looking for a 10 to 15-year commitment, and you're
Right.
like, we're not going to do that. Like
Right.
no company's going to put him in for that.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I like him for a lot of stuff. I'm looking at his bio now. I liked him in the first the first uh Pacific Rim movie. I thought that was a good movie. He played it well. Um, I think he's probably trying to get away from some of the roles like that, but
Okay.
I don't know.
The next guy, I don't know. Jamie Dornan. Dorn.
Jamie Dorn.
Dornan. I don't know who that is, but he's at a plus 1,000. So he's down the list here.
Um,
I have no idea who he is.
I'm looking. I'm going to tell you things that you maybe saw him in. Oh, he was in 50 Shades of Grey. He was
Oh,
Christian
yes. Now I
Grey.
know who it is. Okay.
Um,
Yes.
I actually saw him in The Tourist, which is on Netflix, which
Okay.
is, you know, a decent first season. I think it fell apart a little bit in the second
Okay.
season. Um, he could like, and I think he doesn't have the necessary star power that he's going to be expensive for the role.
Mm-hmm.
Um, again, he is a little bit older. He's in his 40s already. Like he'll be 42, 43 coming up here. Just turned 43.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So again, like if you're looking for a 10 to 15-year commitment from somebody, but you know what? Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just looking for, let's get 2 to 3 movies out of them and we're going to shoot them all back to back. And
Yeah, maybe.
there we go.
Next one,
But he
16.
could. I
Oh,
think he could.
next one plus 1,600. Zac Efron.
No.
I don't see it either. I'm not saying he can't act it. I'm not saying he can't do it. I just actually there's something telling me that I just don't see the fit. I think it's the nicest way for me to say it because I'm a fan of Zac Efron. I
Mm-hmm.
don't see the fit. I don't see it. I don't see. It's not that he can't get in shape. It's not that he can't
He's
do it
definitely
physically.
proven that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that I don't I think he's even a good actor. I
Yeah.
just don't see
We've
him doing that.
I don't believe we've ever seen him do that level of rage that he would have to pull out at some point. Um,
Right.
which, doesn't mean it's not in there.
Right.
But that would be like, I don't think he would find playing Wolverine a challenge. Like it wouldn't be enough for him. I mean, he's been acting for a long time.
Yes, he has.
Like, and I don't know how old he is. I think he's in his 30s.
And
Um,
I'm pretty sure he doesn't even want to do something like that.
and that's the thing. I mean, he's his first credit is in 2002, where he played a kid in Firefly. And let's see, High School Musical, the first one came out in 2006. The fact that he hasn't chosen to do any kind of superhero type movie
Ever.
to me shows he doesn't want to,
Yeah.
or even like big blockbuster um action piece. Like
Yeah.
he when you're going through his IMDb, you're hard pressed to find anything that would be considered an action piece.
Right.
In fact, I'm looking at it now. No, 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 no. Um, yeah, there's really nothing like that in
Right.
here that would be action. He's got the musicals. He says that they hold a good place in his heart to be able to do those when he wants to, and he can probably say, "Who's got a musical for me?" People would come running.
Yeah.
Um, but he's never done like honestly, Baywatch was probably the most action-oriented film he had to do.
Right.
The greatest beer run ever, I think was that an Apple? I think it was an Apple film. Was like his uh, um based on a true story about a kid about a guy whose bunch of his friends went to Vietnam and he didn't go. Like for some reason he didn't have to go. I don't remember what it was. But he's like, I'm gonna take them beer. And he grabs a backpack full of beer and it's him more or less backpacking through Vietnam. And they're like, what are you doing here? Why
Yeah. Yeah. Why would you
what are you
do this?
doing?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
had some action ish pieces to it, like running away from gunfire. Um, but that's about it. Like there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
see it.
Okay.
We've
Yeah.
never seen him do it,
Yeah.
and I don't think he wants to if he hasn't done it by now.
Yeah. Hang in there, people. We got two more left. If in case you're wondering, we are the odds, and you can actually find this on a pretty much any sporting website. I'm sorry, sporting betting website. The actor to play Wolverine after Hugh Jackman odds. So here's the one that you and I, well, you originally said it. I immediately was like, yeah, he can totally do it. Daniel Radcliffe at plus 200. And there seems to be an uprising to this lately where either people are catching
Yeah,
on to what you and I have always said, or he's starting to leak it a little bit because he was on some late night talk show where he said like, hey, I'd be honored to do that. Or anytime, no, I think he spun it and said, anytime you're honored to replace a role that Hugh Jackman made amazing, that's pretty cool. He said like something
it
like that. So he didn't accept it. He didn't say
no,
yes. He didn't say no to it though. So I think I don't know, that caught fire. But I think he'd be great at it.
he would
Interesting. It
be.
would be interesting too.
Um, he is, to the best of my knowledge, and the last thing I heard from him, Daniel Radcliffe has no desire to do another large franchise film.
Okay.
And he just won a Tony Award. Like he's a theater kid. Like
Yeah.
at heart. That's where his passions lie.
Or just doing these oddball movies.
Oh yeah, just doing like independent films like Guns Akimbo
Yeah.
is a ridiculous film,
Yes, it is.
but a lot of fun.
Yes.
Like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see him wanting to jump into
Or
the X
didn't he
world.
play a dead body?
Yeah, he did. Swiss Army friend. I
Yeah,
think was
something
the
like
movie, or
that.
Swiss
Yeah.
Army Man.
He played a dead friend,
Uh,
and he's in some sort of funny show now where he's like,
yeah, that was the one still shot I sent you where because he um through the growing up in the spotlight,
yeah,
he took to drinking like many other child actors do.
yeah,
And I don't know if he said he was an alcoholic, but he said I quit drinking. Like it was
yeah,
something that I was like, nope, I don't want to do this anymore.
yeah.
And he replaced drinking with working out and got
Okay.
shredded.
Yeah.
So that's what gives him his,
His little high or
yeah, his
endorphin
little
or
high, the endorphin kick is
yeah.
yeah, working out. So yeah, and that's good for him, I
Yeah,
guess.
I agree.
But I don't
I
I
agree.
don't really see him doing another big franchise film. A couple comments in here.
Yeah.
Um Cousin Clay said Joseph Gordon-Levitt
Mm.
again, like
He's pretty
Joseph
old now,
Gordon.
isn't he?
He's my age. He's
Is
46,
he? Is he?
and yeah, and yeah, is a wonderful actor. I think has had some opportunity. He's done some actiony kind of things.
Yes. Didn't he
Um,
did Power, that one with Jamie
yep, he
Foxx,
did.
right?
He did Power recently.
Yeah.
He had some action-ish scenes in Inception,
I,
where he had to do some interesting stuff.
isn't he in the new Axel Foley?
He is, yes, but I
Yes.
haven't watched it yet.
Neither have I.
So yeah, I just don't. I don't know. Again, his name is his name. If it was thrown in the hat, he would probably be like, "I'm gonna pass." Like maybe there's a more interesting character to play.
Yeah. Do you think that's
I could see him being like, was it Black Cassidy or Mister Sinister
oh,
or
Black Tom Cassidy?
yeah, yeah,
Oh no.
from the Hell
Cassidy. No, Cassidy wasn't Cassidy the Banshee?
Also named Cassidy, but yes, but
Oh, they were
Black
both
was Black
Black
Tom
Tom. Yeah, but he
from the
died in Deadpool too.
from the Hellplayer. Did he? Was he in there?
Yeah, yeah. They that's how they got. That's how he was like, "Oh, you killed Black Tom, you racist." Remember
Oh,
that?
that's right. Okay,
They
yeah.
all
Sorry.
started calling Josh Brolin racist, and they
Is it
carried
Chris as
on through the
Weird Al?
movie. Yeah, they carried. Oh yeah, that's right. He was Weird Al. Yeah,
Well, he was Weird Al, but then he said, could Weird Al play Wolverine? No, he wouldn't. But
yeah,
actually, Al would, just not in a good way.
yeah. Not in a fun way. You keep saying that it's not a good role. Are you saying it's not a good role because of all the things that are attached to it? Because I think Wolverine could be a fantastic character if you
Could be, but yeah,
dig into it.
I'm not a huge Wolverine fan
Oh,
of
you're
the
not?
character. Not as
Oh,
much as I used to be. I mean, like I think every kid who first
loves
gets into
Wolverine. Yeah,
comics at some point has a love affair with Wolverine.
yeah,
Guy's got fucking swords coming out of his hands. I mean, what's not to be
yeah.
loved about that? Um, and he's an anti-hero. So I think I don't know. I just think depending on how they put him in this new film, he's a pretty one-dimensional character.
You think
Like
so?
he's not, yeah, there's not a lot to him, even though he's got thousands of pages of history and everything else. It's
Mhm.
still emotionally a kind of a one dimensional kind of character. Jackman's tried to do a little bit with it, but I don't know. Like Old
All right.
Man Logan was good. It looks like they're taking a little bit of that into Deadpool, where they're taking a Wolverine who was somehow responsible for the death of all the superheroes in his reality or something like that. But so we'll see.
Okay. Last one is a definite no to me for age and just I whatever. Carl Urban plus 3,300. I'm not a Carl
No,
Urban fan. I'm just
Carl Urban's great. I love him in a lot of different things. They're doing that because of the way he plays Butcher.
yeah, but that's not
Like he plays
Wolverine.
Butcher, and they're like, "Oh, he'd make a great Wolverine." But that's what they're going off of.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
All right.
Maybe if they redid Old Man Logan because he's in his 50s. Um,
Yeah.
in same way, I'm looking at some
I mean,
comments
if
here.
you're gonna
John
do
Barenthal again, great actor.
John Barron, oh, the Punisher, and that
The
who,
Punisher. Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Taylor Lautner again, good but
Taylor
older.
Lautner.
Um,
Oh, wait a minute. The
interesting.
werewolf?
No, no, I don't. No, I think John Carter of Mars wasn't he that Taylor Lautner?
No, that's not Taylor Lautner.
It's not.
That's Taylor Kirsch or something like that.
Maybe yeah,
Taylor
maybe then.
Lautner is the werewolf from Twilight. Who said that?
Um, is it Grez Forever? The person we don't know.
Okay.
Person like we don't know personally.
All right. Okay. Well, I mean, look, I shouldn't have started it like that. So forgive me. If you think he'd be a good Wolverine, then, or if you were, yeah, whatever.
Well, and
not
then
my,
for
yeah.
shits and giggles, Timothy Chalamet.
Oh no, it's too skinny. Well, it's not like he couldn't get buffed up.
Maybe,
Um,
although I don't know his build. I think is probably he'd have the definition.
I really like him. But
Yeah,
I
we'll
would
see.
see him more, honest to God, I see him more as Nightcrawler than I would ever see him as Wolverine.
That's true. That's true.
So, but that's just me. If you're gonna do an old man Logan, you got to put it. Then you take Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
He'd be a good old man Logan. If you're
yeah,
gonna
he
stick
would.
to that
I
actual
would take
script with the
Charlie Hunnam
Hulk
as
and yeah,
well.
you take
With
Charlie. Oh God,
well, I would do
yeah.
both. I mean, I think they
Okay.
both could pull off an old man Logan very well.
All right. Well, we went through the entire list, guys. I'll go through it one more time. You let us know in the comments below who you would like to
Well,
play Wolverine.
the one ad that I would put in there,
Sure.
and this
Oh,
was the
yes,
one that
yes. I was going to get to that.
Marshall, our friend Marshall, who is a Wolverine super fan,
Mm-hmm.
named his son after a character from the Wolverine comics.
Correct.
Has Wolverine tattoos. He
Yep.
collects. He's a super fan.
Yep.
The if you go to Jared Kesso,
Mm-hmm.
who was he starred in the show Letterkenny
Mm-hmm.
as Wayne,
Mm-hmm.
and then he also did some of one of the one of the ambulance shows, like one of like Chicago Fire or
Oh, did
Chicago
he?
EMT, or yeah, he was in one of those types
Okay.
of shows for quite a long time, and he's done some. He was in the first Godzilla remake as
Oh,
one
he
of the
was?
army guys. Yeah, the guys
Oh,
doing jumps when they do the Halo jump.
okay.
Like he was one of them. Pulls it off very well. Promotional shots out there. He's a former hockey player,
Hmm.
but is short, compact. As we saw in Letterkenny, he's got a great scowl. Um, and what we've seen him do in other stuff is good. And he's an actual Canadian, so I think people would get behind that. Um,
Okay. I
and
um I know
he would
go on, I'm sorry.
be. I think he fits the bill in that he's got some recognition. Some people would like to see him as that, and they could get him to do a long term commitment
Commitment to it.
for cheap. Like he
Yeah.
would be at the price point where they're like, you're a working actor, you've had some success in other places. How would you like to be in a 10 to 15-year contract more?
Okay. So you've seen him in more than Letterkenny.
Yeah.
So
Bit parts that I've seen him in, yeah.
on your depth state, well, according to you, you don't have to be that depth to play Wolverine.
I
So
don't think you do.
okay, so then I guess yeah, I just it's hard. It's hard for me to I mean, it's basically I feel how a lot of people felt about Michael Keaton when they first heard him in Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought right when I think Letterkenny, I can't take that dude seriously. The
Right.
built's right, the gruffness, but like I can't take it seriously, but I could see where you could lead me down to it. So like everything
Mm-hmm.
you just laid out sounds great, honestly. So
Yeah.
it's not a bad suggestion, and I'm going to take uh Marshall's uh point of view more than my own point of view. Because
Yeah.
I'm not a diehard Wolverine fan. I can appreciate the character,
Yeah.
but
For a lot of it, it really depends on who they get to be the director and what they,
picture or what
well,
they
not
want.
only what they picture, but what do they accept? Like, because we've seen movies that have been perfectly cast, and the director just goes, you know what? That's what I'm looking for. What? What? I mean, I don't know. Ang Lee, who was a legendary actor, did the first Hulk movie.
You mean director?
Director, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, no, legendary director, made the first Hulk movie, and we all sat down and we were like, yes. And about halfway through, we went, what are we doing? Is this what we're doing? Like the
Did they
whole
mean this?
thing
Did they
gonna
mean this
be
split
like
shot it
this?
like this?
Oh my god,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's made some weird choices here.
Yeah. Yeah. He took that.
So
Um,
yeah, I
yeah.
think, I mean, it's more than just the actor that's going to make or break that role, but
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's one of those roles where I think Kevin Feige has to say has a say.
he has
Like,
to.
yeah, like yeah, that could be the next thing that carries on this Marvel thing for as
And
long
I
as
think
they
it's
want to do it.
smart to do some research, do some, have some
Yeah.
people sign some NDAs, bring in some nerds of various types, do some market research before you really get into it.
Yeah.
And you know, again, there's always budgets that are playing into it as well, but
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So once again, I'll give you guys the rundown. You let us know in the comments below. Taron Egerton, Tom Hardy, Scott Eastwood, Henry Cavill, Jeremy Allen White, Charlie Human,
Hunnam,
Hunnam, thank you,
Charlie
Greg,
Hunnam,
Hunnam, Jamie Dornham, Zach Efron, Daniel Radcliffe, Carl Urban, and Kelso, you said?
Kesso, Jared
Kelso,
Kesso.
Jared Kesso. So there you go, folks. Let's move on if you want to. So Greg, this has been a while. I don't know if you know about this or not, but I thought I'd throw this at you because I didn't know because my first thought was, would I do this? So do you know who MrBeast is, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I guess he put two strangers in a room for 100 days for a chance to win $500,000. So my question to you is, would you do that? Now, let me set it up for you. It's a room. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, you would just get, I don't even know if they would
Did they
actually
get
give
any privacy at all, or were they
no privacy. It's just a room. Um, I think it's just a room where it simulates night and day. So you wouldn't lose any of that part of you. But
okay?
you're in this room. You don't get out of this room.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm sure because I'm looking at it here, it shows a boy and a girl. So I'm assuming there are certain privacy chambers to like go to the bathroom, take a shower, things like that. I don't know all of that, but it says recently Jimmy took to his Instagram to share a reel about his latest challenge. He coupled up two contestants to stay in an isolated chamber for 100 days. At the end of the time of the duration, they would win 500,000. The main rule here is that if either one contestant wants to leave the chamber, both of them lose the challenge and go and get no money. The isolation chamber had its basic necessities like food, a private bathroom, and a bed. The participants are blindfolded until the challenge begins. The isolation chamber is equipped with bright lights leading to difficulties in sleeping, so it doesn't shut off actually. The
Hmm.
contestants for this challenge were a guy named Bailey and a girl named Susie. Um, so I guess some of the things that you could get for like after the 10th day, they would offer you TV. But if you accept the TV, they take away
Take away part of
money
the
from the
money.
pot. So 100 days, Greg, could you do that with a
I don't
stranger?
think so. I don't think so. And I think that's the whole. Like I'm looking at uh pictures of the isolation chamber.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look like they have. They don't have books. They don't. I mean, it's just you and that other person for 100 days.
Yes.
I don't know. To me, it seems like some weird Russian experiment from the turn of the century where
Yes.
they're just
Yes.
gonna like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna
Yeah.
take two people, shove them in a room, give them sleep deprivation, and I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why he's doing it. Other than
Views.
yeah, getting clicks, getting views. I
Yeah.
mean, he does so much other good stuff
Yeah.
that I'm not trying to hate on him,
Right.
but when I hear about him doing stuff like this, I'm like, why? Like, and I don't
Because
think it's just views. I really don't. I
because why
think
not? Maybe it's
I
an
think
interesting
there
experiment.
I think there's another like there is somebody else who's like, we want to know what happens when we
Oh,
take
okay.
two people from 2023, 2024, whenever he did this.
Gregory, that sounds like a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, a little bit. It's like somebody else is like, we're gonna pay you, Mr. Beast, to
Yeah.
set this up, but we want the data. Like we want to know what happens when like how long can we last? I mean, call it a doomsday prepper. Maybe it's the American government paying for it. I don't really know. But that's what it seems like. I mean, I remember being in my psychology class in high school, learning about um learning about like weird experiments that they used to do.
Yeah.
And the Russians were like, how it was the how long can the human actually stay awake?
Oh no,
Like,
that's a piece that's a creepy pasta story.
I don't
The
know what
Russian
creepy.
sleep experiment?
Well, partially, but like the Americans did it. They're like, okay, we're going to do it without drugs, and then we're going to do it with drugs. And so, like, when the Russians did it with drugs, they got this guy to stay up, for like a month, I think, by just constantly shooting him up with different things.
Jesus. Can you
And
imagine that?
no, like he
Oh,
was having full on hallucinations.
yes, of course.
Like he was becoming a paranoid schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And when they eventually let him sleep, they're like, how long do you think he slept? How long do you think he actually slept?
Are you asking me?
No, no. Well, that
Oh,
that was the question. Like our teacher was asking us,
two
and
hours.
everybody's like, "He probably slept forever." He's like, "He slept for 8.5 hours," and then his body said, "You're rested now.
Yeah.
It's time
You're
to wake
rested.
up."
Here we go. We're all back
And
to
he was up
normal.
again, and he's like, "Okay, now I feel better." He had some other long-lasting effects from it, but that's what and that was
Yeah.
the experiment. I'm like, why did they do that? He's like, because they wanted to know, and no one was running these experiments at the
Yeah.
time.
No, I understand why they would want to do that. That's us always wanting to know our limits. What happens if we do this? What happens if we do that? You know?
Yeah, I
Um,
I do know that like 100 days. in isolation, which is what some prison systems have been doing,
Yes.
um, is really, really bad
Right.
psychologically. Like you're scarring a person.
Well, you know, okay, I'm just thinking of the divorce rate went up in our country with COVID. So
Yeah,
that's an entire house. Like if you're stuck in a room with a stranger, you could turn you know, a small anthill into a mountain in terms of an
sure.
argument, and you could lose your fucking mind.
Well,
And
and we see that happen with
y-
college kids.
yeah,
Like
yes, you're right.
you're given a roommate
Yeah.
for the
You're
first
giving a
time.
roommate, you're giving alcohol, you're giving TV, you're
You
giving all that
you're
stuff,
given
and you're
all
giving,
this stuff, and they
yeah,
can't get along for shit.
yeah,
And all of a
yeah,
sudden now you're gonna like take away all those amenities where all you
yes,
have is conversation with the other person,
yes.
which
So
will last for a while. I mean, you could get through maybe a month. I think.
30 days.
I think. Yeah.
I think you could. I think you could tough out 30 days no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah. 100 days? Probably not.
100 days is a lot to ask for someone. And it's not generational wealth that's coming at you either.
No, it's what was 500,000?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
500,000,
it's
but
less
not
than a
only that,
million.
it's like
So
for the 10th day, they were offered a private chef to cook for them for the rest of the challenge for $50,000 out of the total prize money. And I guess this went on every 10 days where they would offer them something. Like on
yeah.
day 20, Mr. Beast asked for 50,000 for comfortable smart beds and an iPad with the ability to control the lights. So this thing was on all the time.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like what did they take any of these
It says it was
amenities?
declined by the duo. Day 30 got a little interesting when Jimmy giving the two a free TV, but spoke, but it cost 10,000 cost per. Okay, so he gave them a free TV, but it cost them 10,000 per movie they wanted to rent. So you couldn't even get
Okay.
TV. You could just get a movie that you wanted to
Yeah.
rent. It would cost you $10,000. Both of those offers were declined. The first time the two participants caved in and spent some of their money was on day 40. Like you were talking about day
Okay.
30, you start tough and shit. Like day 40 gets rough. They were presented with a phone call, coffee machine, spices, Monopoly, and Harry Potter books, each prize at 10,000. Bailey decided to opt to keep the Harry Potter books while Susie asked for coffee.
Okay.
Like they
I
stripped
mean,
you of everything. So of course you're going to be kind of going nuts.
yeah.
Have
And
you heard it?
again, I'm not sure why.
Yeah, have you heard of that? Have you heard of that thing that Aaron Rodgers does now where he goes into like this hobbit hole for like 3 days of pure blackness?
The darkness retreat.
The
Yeah.
darkness retreat. Yeah.
I've heard of that,
So
but
it must be this whole thing about isolating yourself from everything. But you're with a stranger and what like you said, like what happens? I mean,
that would almost be a redeem.
even if you get along, you're not going to get along in 100
Yeah,
days.
I think that's almost a redeeming quality, like that you're with a stranger, because then you can like dig into lives and backgrounds, and then
Yes.
the variety you have. Like, I think you put someone who's been married 25, 30 years, and you put them in that situation with their spouse,
Yeah.
they're not going to be talking about, you know, their
In-depth
lives
things.
because well,
Yeah, I
they
know.
will for a little bit, but then
I know.
eventually, I mean, you run out of shit to talk about
Yeah.
because it's like
Yes.
how many times you be like, hey, one time I went to
Yeah,
Paris. Yeah, I was
exactly.
with you, dipshit.
Yeah.
We were there together.
Wasn't that
Like,
wasn't that fun?
yeah, I mean,
Remember that one time we were in the ocean?
it was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think I could do this. I don't think I'd want to do this. Like
No, it holds no appeal to
what
me.
money, what would be the amount you'd need?
It would be over a million. It
It'd
would have
have
to
to
be
be.
it would have to be like enough that one, I'm paying off everything, like including my
Right.
children's
Yes.
like I'm setting up my kids for life. I don't have to work anymore. I mean, it's you
Yes.
know, like
Life, life
yeah,
generational changing money.
500
Yes.
million. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
going to give that a shot.
Yes.
Like that's some that would be worth it to me. And I might be rocking in the corner
Yes.
going nuts
Or
going,
just saying 500 million.
Yeah,
500
just
million.
500 million. I mean,
500 million.
that's what it would take.
Can you imagine? Okay, I'm assuming they split the money. Okay.
Yeah, I would
So
assume
can
so.
you imagine sitting in there and you're at day like 99 and the one person can't stand anymore and he wants to leave, and if he leaves, you lose your money, your five.
Yeah, 250,000.
Like you could murder that dude
Yeah.
so he wouldn't
Yeah,
leave or restrain him. Like it could get that serious.
it could. I
Yeah.
mean, it's some weird Hunger Games kind of shit he's
Yeah.
pulling here. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you
I don't
think
know.
this all the way through? So, yeah, I wouldn't do it. So, if anybody out there, would you guys do this for 500,000? If you wouldn't do it for 500,000, how much would you do it for?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, Greg. Where are we at? Well, we're already at
Yeah,
an hour seven. Let's get some
Wolverine. Wolverine takes up a lot of time.
yeah, why not for an yeah, for not a very in-depth character.
I don't think so. I
No,
really don't.
I actually I haven't thought enough to even argue with you on it, so I don't care. I just like poking the bear. All right, give us some polyjammery, sir, or
Polyjammery
poking the packer.
for this week came up again. You can follow our Polyjammerist with Johnny and the Greg. The link is in the description. That will take you to the Spotify playlist where there's songs out there that I'm only covering usually one a week. So I'm adding to this anytime I'm coming across. Oh, TikTok added a really cool feature. Like as I'm scrolling through and I'm finding new music, there's a button that's like add this to playlist, like down on the bottom, and
Oh,
I just go poke instead of having to like pause it, go look it up, find the one,
yeah,
add it. It's just a one click thing, and I appreciate that.
of course.
Thanks, TikTok. So this is Lydia the Bard. And because we are in a season where Ren Fair has started, my family is getting pumped up. We're all starting to talk about what are we going to wear and when weekend are we going and things like that. She has, I don't know if this is a term that she came up with, but it's called Feyrap.
Okay. Oh no,
Yeah.
Feyrap.
Feyrap. And this is, I'm gonna just guess probably not gonna be your speed.
Okay, hang on a second. Before you do this, make sure your everything's working well. You
Right,
got
yeah.
sound up, all that stuff.
So like I said, I'm gonna guess that this isn't gonna be Johnny's speed, but I don't know. There's a place for it, even if it's during your D&D games and
Okay.
someone's playing a bard. I think there's a place for it.
All
So
right.
here we go. Lydia the Bard. The song is called Afraid of Quiet. Here we go.
It's hot for a cartoon.
Promise I'm fine when I'm naughty, my mind's spinning round and around with my thoughts on my pool with my lid and the water is bubbling, about to boil over, the temperature's doubling. Siren alarm in the night and I can't stop the noise cause I swear there's a fire somewhere. I can't see it or hear it or smell it or taste it, but what if I'm not prepared, how will I face it? If I could calm myself down, just breathe in and breathe out, take a second, let go of control, then my mind could be free. What if I drop the ball for just a moment, who will pick it up, a friend or an opponent? Can't I just calm down?
So it's different. A little bit of it, I'm like, what did she say? Just the way the tone of her voice is and the speed, I'm like, I gotta go back. I gotta go back. I gotta look up lyrics. What is she saying?
All right. I actually love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, you good?
Yes, I think it's really good. I'm one of those people that actually try to listen to lyrics versus beats. Like my wife just listens to the beat, and if it has a good beat, she doesn't hear
Okay.
doesn't
Yeah.
hear the vocals. She just ties the vocals to the beat, and there's
Mhm.
I'm the one that actually breaks down the vocals. Um, I couldn't understand a word she said, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I thought it was
No,
really good,
it
fun.
was something
Yeah,
that caught my ear
yeah.
when I came across it, and it was through like D&D TikTok. It was just like, have you heard of Feyrap? And they're like, what's that? And then she started playing the song, and I'm like, ooh, okay, maybe.
I'm impressed by people that can go like that without. I would stutter and stop.
Oh,
I'd fall
well,
all over myself.
stuttering, stopping, the breath control it takes
Yes,
is
just
actually really
that
impressive.
talent of having to. I mean, there are some actors who can like have that explosion of just and that never tripping over a
Hmm.
word and oh, I there's I can't do it, so I appreciate people that can.
Hmm.
So I liked it. I thought that was really cool. So I think we're gonna cut the podcast there. Before you take us out, Greg, National Day today is Koi Day, Rock and Roll, National Dive Bar Day. It's all these,
Ooh,
yeah, it's all these days, and National Macaroni. So if you don't have a koi, go check one out. They're kind of cool. I wish I had one. National Rock and Roll Day. Favorite rock and roll band, Greg? You got one?
no,
Only one, Greg.
no, not
You
only
don't have
one.
one rock and roll band that you like?
No, no, no. I like many rock and roll
Okay,
bands,
okay.
but you can't put me on the spot and be like, favorite one. Now, I don't have a favorite one. I like many.
If you were working out doing that bench press, what would it be? Which rock and roll band?
Right now,
Yeah.
uh, I don't know, probably some Swedish metal band or something like that. It
Okay.
would be on random.
Okay.
Um, you can always go with Foo Fighters. That's basic dad
There you
rock.
go. Yes. Foo
Yeah.
Fighters. I agree with you there. National Dive Bar Day. Dive bar. So all those favorite dive bars out there.
I was telling my kids recently about a bachelor party that you and I went to that was all dive bars. And I did not expect it to be
Yeah.
all dive bars.
I think I know
Like
which
it
one you're talking about.
like it was just dive bar after dive bar. And I'm like, this guy's I mean, and the friend that we had was,
Yes.
on his way to becoming president and CEO of a very big business.
Yes.
We're like, really? This is what I expected something different. I don't know. Like, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, I got us rides. These guys are picking us up in like party vans. No, they were like pedo buses. It was like this weird white windowless van dropping us off. And I'm like, okay.
um National Macaroni Day. That's my daughter's favorite food, macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did
every
pasta
6-year-old.
salad
Yeah.
multiple times over the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah. So there you go. So Greg, take us out, sir.
Well, we're in the middle of summer and you're going to be out seeing other people. Like, we're not staying in indoors anymore. We are out. We are socializing. We're going to festivals. We're drinking. We're doing things. And as you're doing all these things, just remember, don't be a douche.
There you go. For the Greg, this is Johnny leaving you with, if you're going to a Ren fair, don't go for the all-in thing. Some soap and deodorant goes a long way.
Mm,
I already did all that. Guys,
you
take
did.
care. Podcast out. Have a good week.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Fall, little windy, but fall. Swear it's nothing personal. It's a necessary evil. Why don't you fall?
And we out.